I don't...
Just what map do you think, Fluke? Just shout them out.
Cafe.
All right, let's throw up the map bands and see whether or not Fluke is right here.
Ding dong, you are wrong.
No, I was about halfway down.
Yeah.
All right, but Theme Park,
so
how will this play out to... how close will this? How will this map play out for these teams? Because we're going to Theme Park. It's not a map we see often.
Electrify have some
any ideas?
good work ahead of them. They can dig themselves in on the defense, but I guess we'll see how it can kind of go.
FAV have banned it once. And they've won it once as well. That was against Xavier. I think, if I remember correctly, that was all the way back at like the beginning of the season. It was a really messy map. That might have been the one that you and I did, the 15-round one, if I remember correctly.
I've done a bunch of 15-round Theme Park maps, so
you know what? They are great, and maybe this will be one as well. But I think FAV should look pretty good.
All right, we're going to a 15-round Theme Park game, and let's toss it over to our casters here. Milos and Jess, take it away.
Can we not? If that's possible, like, please, hello? You know what, Jess, we're back on the caster's desk. It's been a couple games, right? We're chill, we're ready for it, and our match is about to kick off. So I'm very excited for this one. As usual, Fluke could not predict the actual map, so not surprising there at all. As we head into Theme Park, FAV versus Electrify, and of course, the social vote is queuing very hard towards our Japanese squad.
What the hell? XQQ just...
So there's the Maverick out first, which usually is the first operator I would love to see on this map, as the op himself is super freaking good. What we've got here, what's our second attacker to be removed? It's Thatcher. All right, Heartbreacher's going to have a harder time now. Ace is not as good as he was only a few days ago.
Oh, that's rough. That's super rough. And the reason it is FAV are starting on attack. They're predicted to be quite strong going into this matchup. But if I had Des here with me right now, he would say, nope, FAV will lose the first half overwhelmingly, no matter who the opposition is. And with those kind of attacking bans, yikes, I'm thinking about Armory and Throne being like the first site that you go to and you hold it in like an absolute fortress.
So there's the Womai. It's going to make it a bit more difficult to run this fortress system, I guess. There's going to be a Pulse, a Valkyrie. Operators that we see quite a bit to removed on here. It's a Cotton. All right. So, okay, makes a lot of sense, right? A response to the fact that you banned a Heartbreacher and the Enabler, basically, in Thatcher. You take away Cotton and you make it a bit easier for you on the attacking side. You don't want to handicap yourself too much. So there is Electrify starting off on the defense, and they're going for Bunk and Daycare. Mira is open. They might go for it, huh?
I mean, I don't remember who said it. I think it was maybe someone from Rogue or something like that. An EUL team brought up recently. Actually, no, it was a CL team. It was Penta, enemy from Penta. He said, Mira works well on a map like Theme Park because there's a lot of power positions to play a Mira. And so if it's in the play, why not play it? We can put it in really good spots on almost every site. There's a place to safely place a mirror, and they're really oppressive. So why not bring it? But speaking about oppressiveness, we saw this in the last matchup, Clash. Super oppressive, going to be coupled with a mirror. You've got the Valkyrie in play as well. I like the lineup here from Electrify. My worry is that by going to this site first, and I look over towards wall denial, there is none. That's my problem.
So how to deal with this? There's the glass. We're going to see so much glass today, aren't we?
I am so excited.
I saw your post. You immediately clipped something from our last game and went on the subreddit. Time to get all of that Reddit karma. Was it Glaz, Ying, Lion, Blitz, Finka? That's... Oh my god. That was horrendous, usually, to look at, especially when it's being played against you. Especially back in the old Lion days, but we don't talk about those anymore, right? Valcams are being set up, so Triple Lift's going to have some information to work with. And might go for a run out early on. It's going to go again and check. Where's the camera? There it is. Nobody at the top, right outside of his little restaurant area. The camera is very exposed, but it doesn't seem like this is the intended area of assault or FAV Gaming, and they're just pushing from the opposite end of the map. But I wouldn't put it beside FAV to use some other positions, right? You can go into the little kitchen, you can drop in from cash. There's different positions to still pressure the defenders on the theme park.
I like this particular push over towards the initiation just because I think it gives you a steadier opportunity to get a plant onto site. When you push Cafe over, you're very bunched up in one room. You can go to the window as well, but you don't really get the best of line of sight unless someone exposes themselves. So I think this push into initiation is the safer play. I don't know if they know there's no wall denial, so the ace is going to have an easy time if there's no impact tricking. And they've also got a Habana as well. So everything gets opened up for free here. More than half the round available to FAV. They're going to get the site all open. They have a heck of a lot of time to play with now.
I'm a bit confused. Why not even bring a mute for this one, right?
Yep.
You literally ban the operators that would make things super easy on a map that is notorious for giving many headaches to a lot of attackers, and you just don't even bring the mute that can really push your way forward. It
doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense at all. Electrify are going to be forced back here at the halfway mark of the round. Pikachu has to leave his location at the top of Yellow Stairs, and Shin is going to come in to pressure from the lab. There's nobody in there, but there's a drone to watch. There is actually somebody right at the bottom of the stairs, interestingly enough. But FAV are going to turn their eyes now onto that restaurant area. Something that we talked about even before. Cafe is now where they're put their attention through, and number 2 is even sneaking up here from control room. Maybe you can find it. It's all about putting Electrify on their toes and keeping them distracted.
They have the Kali to deal with the clash, and they can use it to their great effectiveness here. That was a bad decision-making skill there. Hello, Triple Lift. He's whiffing shots left, right, and center, and that gives Glaz the opportunity to, well, get a pretty free kill there. My worry is now they've left it down to the 20 seconds. They're going to have to flood site. Are the defenders prepared for this flood?
There's the reload, the SPSMG, number 2 able to pound Ed and take him out. Oh, so close there, but the peak. It's Cino to work it out. Ray with one more onto number 2, and the attackers are dwindling in numbers. 2 left, but Cino walks right into the line of fire. The AK-12. Ray's running around the corner here inside a bunk. He's got the Vector in hand. Afro will go in for the plant. No smokes to cover. And is the angle held? Not enough. He knows that he's there. His camera's to give him the info, but he's got to go for the gunfights, and has been blocked. Nitrocell not quick enough around the corner, and Chloroform will go for the finisher. FAV Gaming with little time left and basically a very minimal amount of players available to push through this, somehow make it. And honestly, you could have done so much by just bringing that mute.
Yeah, that blows my mind that the ban phase can go so overwhelmingly in the defender's favor outside of Kaid and Wamai. I still think the Wamai ban doesn't do much. On this map, for example, I think there's just so much to deal with that the ADS can oftentimes be enough, and people extend, then they move back into site. I don't think that that's the big hitter. The only big hitter was Kaid, and I think for the most part, even with that ban, you've got Bandit, you've got Mute, you've got a bunch of other things you can use for your wall denial. It doesn't rest on one operator there, even though it's banned, and to not use it, I'm really confused. Those walls got opened up before the halfway mark for absolute free. It's not a mistake you should be making, especially in a game that, okay, granted, Electrify don't need to win this. I don't think a lot of people know they're already relegated. They have no major chances here. For Electrify, this is just about pride and, you know, some experience and getting things, you know, out on the show that they are improving with their current lineup. My problem is that for FAV, it actually is a little bit important. So how much advantage they take out of Electrify on their defensive half, which is overwhelmingly the most positive half of a theme park Playday, is yet to be seen.
Yeah, completely agreed. We see the mute, the bandit. Basically, we want to compensate for the problem. At least the Electrify are able to identify what it was before it got too much out of hand. And they're going to run both of the ops. 2 batteries have been put down by Triple Lift. The drone is going to come out here from number 2 on the Castle Lantern spawn, and there's nobody through there. Triple Lift has been spotted, has to fall back from Cash. Pikachu's not wasting any time himself, goes out for the peek, and actually is just to put down a camera. Suppressors all around, by the way. Some people might think, well, is it really worth to put suppressor, losing on the damage setter? First of all, pea shooters, it's not really going to change much. But two, a lot of people react very quickly to the directional indicators that you get when you get shot, right? But in this case, you don't have to deal with that because the suppressor basically hides it completely. So it's great to have. Type on there, trying to deal with the Maestro camera. The Lance did not take it out, which is interesting. But they're going to drop in for the rush. Spaghetti-O. Afra's already in through the bathroom. Ray's found one, though, on a Typhon, denying the diffuser from being planted. Because you know what? You could still spray through the smoke. The wall is open. Just go plant somewhere else. Oh, the glass taken in from the behind. And there's two left in Shin and Chloroform. Shin, a good shot there. Two more for Shin. Taking down Ray, but Pikachu instantly gets one. Oh, no. Chloroform's actually doing it. There's the last one. Triple Lift has already gone up the yellow stairs, checking the corridor. Oh, this perfect angle. How do you even deal with this? You just have to destroy as many cameras as possible and try to pick up that diffuser. You have to go all the way around. And of course, the defender is going to have a lot of flexibility in dealing with you, no matter which position you go to there.
I think for Triple Lift now, he plays a smart game. If he exposes himself too early, and that's what this bait is, that plant is trying to bait him to come to Chloroform. He's
Oh no! Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Triple Lift could have played that a lot smarter. He could have peppered some shots over towards Drug, waited for him. Even if he did play it, you could play the retake in a heck of a lot of time. It's a 1v1. It's not like you're having to look for multiple operators. I don't think Triple Lift played that smart. I think under stress in that situation, you make a lot of bad decisions. My problem there was Chloroform played it perfectly. He baited. He had a minute to work with to be able to bait. He probably could have baited 10 times over if he wanted to. And Triple F fell for it on the first go. So, bit of a shame.
Oh man, that was very well played by Chloroform. I gotta say, the past two rounds saved by him. That AK-12 did a lot of work opening in round 1 and round 2. Got the kills that were so very necessary for the squad to take it. Yeah, you had a Nitro in the back pocket as well as a Bandit. You had a lot of flexibility in whatever utility you needed to use. Unfortunately, the round is lost, and yeah, you can just bypass. Now, I think, if Electrify went back to this Bunk's defense and just ran the mute, then maybe it would have turned out better. You don't need to systematically change the site if you know what the missing piece of the puzzle was. And in this case, they kind of figured out, you know what, we're going to bring Bandit, not bring the mute. I personally believe the mute would have been a bit of a better decision, but so be it. At least it fills the gap that you had problems with before. But I'm still very curious as to how FAV will deal with it.
Well, they've still got a lot of the intel in play in the hands of the Valkyrie. The intel coming from the mirrors as well. We'll see whether or not we are still heard on stream or not, because for me, I'm running a PowerPoint presentation that was given to me in 2001 during my first grade or first year of school. And they came off those like reflective, where you put the sheet onto and it pushes it up onto the wall. Yeah, what are they
still
called?
had that in uni. I still had that in uni also. Yeah. I mean, public school.
Damn, how old are you, bro?
What do you mean? That was like 2012. Are you joking? No, but realistically, this does remind me of the Pro League finals in 2017 in Sao Paulo. But here we are, a bit better now. Number 2 is coming on in with Chloroform behind him. They're going to do the same thing as before FAV Gaming. Trick it. Let's go. Show me what you got. Hello? Why are you holding angle? What?
No, it's not him. Ed misinterpreted which wall they were going to go to first, because it's not his fault here, Milosh. The reason it's not his fault is that the first time they did it, they got the initiation wall first. This time they decided to get the yellow wall first. I mean, it's literally a moment of 50-50, and they got it wrong.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that.
Why didn't you just place it down first, actually? Because there's no Thatcher, there's no Maverick.
Hello, Ed Boy, many doors, yes. Ed, that is going to finally save the
colleague. I take
day.
it back.
There it is. You got it. I mean, you could have tricked it before, but fair enough. Does the job. At least they can deal with the utility. We were talking about mute the whole time. What are we talking about? You know, washed up caster, washed up analyst. We're like, wait a second.
The Kali, man, that's the big player here. You know what? The big thing for me is that they have 2 snipers. When's the last time you've seen a composition of 2 snipers on Siege? I actually can't name it at this tier level ever.
It never existed before, right? Nobody would have used a glass back in the day, and the smokes are flooding inside of Checkers here. Afro's already in and checking for any peeks, and he can at least deal with maybe a Mira behind the soft wall, which is definitely a possibility. Ray gets peeked, and how is he? There it is, finally dead. Afro low on HP, but the work has been done, and Ed is on the floor. Triple Lift has to fight through the mirror window. His teammates set up, and will find Shin. Maybe the second. No, too slow. Afro using the rate of fire. The OTS will get a kill off of it. Chloroform and Afro doing the work when necessary. All up to Sino. So little time, but no smokes to use. He'll get Afro, but will it be enough? The diffuser's been planted, and now everybody's going to exit and just sit on those windows. Doesn't matter. Number 2 will find it. This round, again, for FAV Gaming, huge.
The big thing for me is that they're getting a lot of these openings onto site that they shouldn't be. No ban phase going this way on this map should end up with FAV walking in that way. I've seen EUL games where the bans have been far more free for the attackers. You know, there's only been a Thatcher ban, for example, Maverick's still available, or vice versa. And teams have struggled to get in the last 30 seconds. FAV are making it look like there's no wall denial. That's exactly how they're making it look like. I don't know what's going through Electrify's mind. Are they not prepared for bans like this? Were they not prepared that the ban phase would go that way? Did they predict it? I don't know. I mean, even looking at, and I've got Oregon here, not theme park, but for theme park, if I go to the operators that they've banned, the most banned operator for them is Thatcher, and the second to that is Maverick. And you go over to FAV, and you look on their theme park. There we go, thank you. And their most banned operator is Thatcher, for example.
Enough. Understandable, right?
So they knew this. They knew FAV would probably ban Thatcher, and if they were going to commit to the Maverick, well then, where did that thought process go?
A lot of, obviously, yourself being an ex-coach, this is something that you always have to factor in, right? This is why you have the data, the analysis to tell you, okay, what's the probability of a team banning or picking X operator on X site, depending on the rotation, the map, etc., where they're playing against. So you have to keep all of that in mind. All of those sheets, the numbers on their own mean nothing unless you have somebody that can accurately interpret that data to make sense out of it, right? Because you know, you can watch an Excel sheet the whole day, but unless you got someone like Cap or Def Marta, you're not going to be able to make sense of any of the numbers.
Yeah, that was a big problem for me, and we're sort of divulging a little bit here, so I'll be light on the facts, but there's a lot of people who want to be an analyst and who want to be the numbers person, and they'll send me a spreadsheet and say, hey, can you look over this? And it's it's 20 tabs long, there's all these colors and graphs and things, and I said to myself, yeah, so explain tab 3. What is the purpose of tab 3? How can you apply that to a team? How can you help a team by having these stats? Because having these stats alone don't freaking mean much.
Exactly. It's all the way back to year 1, year 2 even of Sage. It's been relegated to the past. You need to move on, get better, that is. And Electrify are trying their darndest here to react with whatever numbers and gizmos they have to deal with FAV and you should have looked both ways before crossing the street. Honestly, the first rule of it all, triple lift, smacking Typon, there's your colleague gone, and you have a mute still to deal with. That is a huge entry there. Shin might have gotten the kill on the triple lift, but the work has already been done, if you ask me.
Yeah, massive there. I can still hear the OTS going off in the background, trying to stop those people from rotating down below, but I actually don't really see anyone in his crosshairs at the moment, and now the attackers are so spread out from each other, they're just hoping for picks at this point. and Afro aggressing onto the barrel side means that no one can play that side, but you don't really need to play that side when most of the attackers want to keep top floor. They know Fab want to get it. They want to hold it for as long as possible. What they really need Afro to do is rotate up there and help. Shin should actually rotate up and help as well because the AK is very strong weapon. We know that Ace has it as well. And they need to focus wholeheartedly on the top floor. Otherwise, this 50-second lead they've got will become 0.
Exactly. And the AK-12 is one of the best guns in the game. Something way before Ace was brought in was a very well-known truth. And now we'll see with the new heartbeat. Are you? Hello? Okay, well, it's the only way for you to go through, and he hits it!
Ooh.
Shin, well done! Pikachu will take down Chloroform, though, so at least trying to equalize the numbers here. Electrify, FAV Gaming, trying to catch on to any rotations or drops through the hatch. You see the Habana looking on down. Shin tagged very low on HP, and there's little time to go through this. Tagged through the wall. No, above the other hatch! Sino is going to get the kill on to number 2, but it's still Afro left. He's going to try to tag, but his opponents are just jumping right and left, playing behind the bomb chassis itself as Pikachu drops in. As you saw there, he couldn't really tell where he was being shot from just because the Valkyrie has a suppressor. So you just don't get the markers, and you don't have that like instant reaction to swing around. It's part of, I mean, at this point, you have your experience as a coach. My experience as an optometrist and someone that had to also work with people that trained for sports, which a lot of things carry over to esports. That reaction speed, this is how you train it. Those markers, it's something built into your system.
I will say, you know, even in my time as a player, I used hit indicators, or rather spray indicators, to be able to flick to my opponent 9 times out of 10. Without them there, you're using sound, and a lot of times there's a lot else going on in your environment around you, which will dull the sound, might give you a misinterpretation. The echo of it might be a little bit different than you expected, so you can't rely on sound alone. And for all players who are used to seeing those markers, they're naturally going to always expect it. So that suppressor is a really funny addition that a lot of players have been using. It does diminish the bullet penetration somewhat, and as a result, you will have to fire more shots into someone or a wall or whatever it might be. But for the most part, some players find that an acceptable trade-off.
So, FAV Gaming at 3, Electrify putting at least 1 round on the board. And you were talking about this before, right? It's a map usually favoring defense is how your team is usually, so why not try to draw as much out of it as possible on the defensive side. There's a maximum of only 2 more rounds Electrify can get, and it's not unusual to have, you know, a 4-2 or even a 5-1 half for the defense.
Right.
There's a blitz.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Make it more intense, shall we? I mean, Ray's on the Warden, but
somebody watching Cyclops before
Warden,
this, like,
I know anyone who takes Warden to counter a blitz doesn't really understand the point of a blitz. I'll say that much.
So there's the Kali coming on in. Yeah, of course you can break down everything with a single shot. Number 2 can drop at any point. Just make sure that you at least look to your side when you come into cash. Nobody droned out the Malusi before. And I'm not sure if there's going to be anybody sitting in there. It's possible that Ray can sit close to cash or even inside of the vault and just do work from there, because what are they going to do? They're going to try to flash you. They're going to try to push you. You have a rotation hole from there. Ed might be able to save you. I'm not sure if Electrify, they have fully reinforced. Okay, so he can deny this. And this is why you see the Habana basically splitting her X-Kairos. Unfortunately, that was kind of Baby's first bandit trick. Not. Again, great analysis. It's great analysis as usual, Jess, of that was not great. I know, I get paid money to say that.
Over these past 2 days of casting, past 2 play days of casting together, have made me laugh in those 2 days, collectively more than 2 whole stages with other casters.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, there you go. I had Hap in the first. Well, I mean, yeah, stats man Hap. I got the shorthand.
All right.
Stages now.
Ed, it's the other one. Nah, he gave up on it.
Sorry,
he needed the battery. He put it the other side, and he got tricked out there. The X-Kairos You got a Selma, you lose a battery, and now you got to put it somewhere else, at least maybe to hold on to your side. Another Selma's being used. Of course, Selma's not as good as they were before. Ed is down on the floor and just waiting potentially to pounce on his opponents. And Afro trying to pressure from the window. Oh, there it is. Sino just shot down. Great grenade. Who would have thought a sniper would have needed grenades just in case it got up close and personal. Triple F though. We'll find two. Type on a chloroformer down, and Ed lying on the floor. Just gonna sit back behind the doorway and find a kill. Number 2 with a great flick on a Pikachu, but it's still a 3v1. 3 flashes left with 14 seconds, and the diffuser is a bit further away. 20 meters to get to it. You're gonna have to rely on kills here, or lucky ones, that is. They're watching you at every entry, and Triple Lift will collect another one. Electrify, such a successful round here. And you know what? All it took was some breach denial. So good. 1-1, man.
Yeah, that was really good from Ed. I think he finally worked it out. The unfortunate part about it is it's quite late into the first half, and you know you've only got so many rounds to collect those defensive wins. What I think actually was the kicker there was that they had stalled Fav out for so long that by the time they pushed aggressively through into waiting room, it gave them the upper hand because they were so busy focusing on how to get the wall open and get it open quick that Fav just had their attention elsewhere. It was a good read into the situation. There's still 1 round deficit, which is not how you want to be on defense. And if you look over at Electrify's stats, just overall as to whether they're a defensive-sided team or an attacking-sided team, they are 41% more likely. Well, when we say 41%, we're saying out of the total rounds that they've played on defense, they've won 41% of them. And on attack, out of the total attacking rounds they've played, they've only won 36. So as a whole, statistically, Electrify is much more defensive-sided. It makes sense. And then when you look over to Fav, they've won over 57% of their defensive total rounds. And then you look on their attack, and they've won 41%, which is how many Electrify win on defense, which is their highest.
And you know what? I want to add a bit more to that. Given the fact that we're in APAC, the more successful you are, the higher rated teams you're going to be playing. So even if it's a certain number, the number on its own doesn't tell you the whole story, because unlike other regions where you're going to face off against everybody once or twice, like for example what we see in EU, here there's no guarantee, and you're probably, if you're playing well, like FAV have been pretty decently, you're probably going to be playing against higher ranked teams, and that is going to affect your overall stats, because higher ranked teams are just going to be a bit tougher to deal with, right? So there's a bit of an inherent bias built into the numbers, but that's something why we're here to clarify these numbers and, you know, give a bit of background on them.
Exactly right. And well, for Fav now, what they need is to finish this half on a 4-2, because when they go into defense, I have no doubt they'll be indomitable. And for Electrify, they're gonna have to put some sweet nothings into the ears of their teammates, because you want to be pulling out the absolute goods here on the second half.
That's sweet nothing that I was just kind of whispering in there. Don't mind me.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Just so you know, Pikachu. Boom.
Oh.
Yeah, honestly, that's a whack-a-mole there, which hits him right in the face. There's the Ash down. A great start for Electrify. Legion, of course, introduced way back in the day on this alongside this very specific map, doing work as is tradition. And so close to finding the other one. T5 is a great SMG, as we talked about this before earlier today. He's just going to fall back. Now with that 1.5x, it's kind of even better, if you ask me. 100% better than we had back in the day. Going to need to deal with a mute jammer, and wow, great shot there to deal with Kali. The lance immediately taken away. And easy kill. You're just collecting them all. 2 kills here. Honestly, at least number 2 and Chloroform are going to be able to find 2 of their own. Mute and the Legion are down for the Ash and the Sledge. Actually, this is still fairly doable for the attackers. They still have Kali, they still have Lances, they have Heart Breachers. It's very doable.
I have no idea why Afro thought jumping through the window was the play there when he had just seen someone shoot the lance, throw an impact, shoot bullets in before that. That's a crazy version of thought process there. And we've actually seen both teams have a little bit of confusing slip-ups. Yellow ping will come out. That's a freebie if I've ever seen one. But guess what? We could throw that one too, they say. And there you go. Looks like they're giving Electrify a little bit of a leg up here in the first half to even things out, so that when they get into the second half, things are a bit even.
So chloroform peeking around. Oh, there it is! A triple lift found and taken out. Instantly going for the reload. Well done by chloroform. Forced to use his utility and whatever is possible. At least trying to pull his opponent's attention towards somewhere else. And there is 2 more Selmas left. He can use one of them on this wall. There's not much time left for it. He's going to need to walk on in at this point. Selma, 2 of them, 2 stages of the Selma are going to work out for him. Can he jump in? Yes, he can. Peeks around the corner. He's looking the wrong way. There's nobody around sitting inside of the armory. And actually, right around the bomb chassis just show up. And Electrify will win their defensive round, turning it into an even 3-3 split at the half.
Some of the really silly mistakes in that round for FAV were very obvious, and they were caught all by medics. Well done. That was a really good round of spectating there, because every single time a mistake was made, we were there to capitalize. We were there to see it. And I think Electrify got to capitalize on that really well there. They dwindled down the time. They got really quite easy picks they, quite frankly, probably shouldn't have been able to get. And you go into the second half here, and you're saying to yourself, well, FAV, they're on defense. They have a much greater chance of winning here. That's what this map generally throws out. I'm looking at the lineup as well. We're going to get a 6-pick off the mirror onto the smoke, and they're going to play into Armory and Throne. They've got, my understanding will be is that they'll use the mute to start off with, Milosh, and then what they'll do is they'll impact trick from there. How many impacts they got? They've just got type on. So actually, they might not impact trick that. That's interesting, because you would expect the attackers to take a Kali, but the attackers are not taking a Kali. They're going to be doing the grenade trick. Interesting.
Okay. Let's see how this one works out, or not, potentially. I'm kind of worried. Electrify had a bit of a shaky start. Maybe it was just needing to warm up and to find the right adaptation to their opponent. And eventually, they did. Not only were they active in picking the right operators, but also in making the right moves when necessary to bandit trick and doing all that. I know it's 101, but it is part of how you deal with your opponent. Though through reactions, sometimes it's not just enough to say, well, you know what, next round we're going to pick this operator, it's going to fix everything. No, the operator's existence is not enough. You need to know how to use it and to use it as a whole team. Typon is going to go for a run out, and looks like, when you know that there's a vigil around, this is something that you have to expect early on. Typon's so close, gets spotted. There's people on the rappel. He gets spotted by the other drone running around. You know he's already there, even though he activated his ERC. It's still a bit too late, and he's gonna have to escape, run away. A bit of damage maybe possible, but you bet he's gonna be lingering, and the right word for it, to quote Blue, is lurking. That is the lurker role for a Vigil player.
Just lurking around, see what drones they can collect, see what damage they can do. And speaking of damage, it actually gets inflicted upon Typon instead. That is not what he wanted to do there, I think. Pikachu desperately seeking out to end him in his whole entirety, but he won't get gifted that just yet. And as a minute goes past, I think for Electrify, having top floor here is pretty damn good. They've pushed all of the defenders all the way back to Arcade Balcony, which is a very far away position. And to challenge it would be quite difficult now that they'll probably start opening up the verticals. My understanding, since they don't have a Kali here, Milosh, is that they might do a yellow stairs take. We should be able to open up above, get off the wall denial. No one really will be able to challenge you unless they've got a C4. And then you get yellow wall open, go for a plant, smoke some things off, everything's Gucci, and it goes from there. My problem is that they haven't fully cleared the roamers, and there is a rotated initiation. So how that goes against them, yet to be seen.
Yet to be seen. Of course, I see this question around. I'm just going to take a second to say it. A lot of people asking, why is Milosh casting today? I'm just casting a couple games. That's it. Dez is away. He'll be back Friday. No worries. That's it.
Why is Milosh casting?
Milosh. Oh, God, not back to that. Number 2 is holding on, and he's going to lose it. Oh, Pikachu and the Zofia of Ed. We're going to find the 2 kills necessary here for Electrify to open things up. The wall was completely opened here by the defenders on purpose so that they can challenge, but everybody's been detected. Typon is trying to survive as long as he can here. They'll not, delay, get as much time down as possible. Ray doesn't really have much in the way of information right now, as a lot of the drones have been lost. Chloroform will take down Ed, and the least here is that you could hear those air jabs that have been put down. And the head! Typon, a great shot to turn it into a 3-3. Possibilities now are very much in the hands of FAV Gaming. 2 players downstairs, and Taipon going in for the flight is right at the top of the drum. And can you find anybody downstairs? Dragon, nobody in. Oh no, they're running right from the angle here into yellow. Shin, a great play to take down Pikachu, and the round is already done. The 3rd player just cannot converge onto the site. Well done by Chloroform and the rest of FAV. It was a good flick, actually, of Chloroform, realizing what's going on, but he already has his teammate in support for this one. Good one, despite the great entry into the round by Electrify.
Your clap sounds more impressive, I think. I don't know what my microphone is, pushing mine through as. I'm in the soundproof room. When I say soundproof, it's the more insulated studio room today, so maybe it won't be echoing quite as nice as yours. Echo.
Yes. I still haven't
Problems
soundproofed
here.
my space, but yes, go ahead. Problems. Sorry.
Problem. Fab won their defensive round. Shocker.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Brilliant.
cannot believe. Surprise Pikachu face. Pun intended. Oh no, we got a Pikachu player. Damn. I wasn't even trying to make that correlation. Problem here for Electrify. They had top floor. I was worried about that rotate from initiation. Guess what? Typhon comes leaping through it late round and manages to get a kill. Electrify are doing the right things. You can tell that they've got a plan ahead of them. They've got a strategy. They know exactly how they want to get onto site. They're just not dealing with those external factors that may affect that. And I think it's more adaptation, as you spoke about before, Miller. She said, Fab, they're trying to adapt to their opponent, work things out as they're going. It felt like that round Electrify hadn't. They were so stuck on what they needed to do that they didn't deviate from that at all, and that might have helped.
So how does this round turn out as the Goyo is being brought in? You can deal with the shields, at least with the lance, so there's always a positive, right? One thing that's really cool about Theme Park is that this is, I think, alongside Oregon, 2 of the maps that you really get to see a ton of Kali on, right? There's a moment where even myself, when the operator was introduced, and this is before the change, giving her the SPSMG and such, that I completely wrote her off. Like, you know what, I'm still not impressed, blah, blah, blah. Because honestly, when it came to utility, like, yeah, it worked out, but the metagame was just not as we have it today. It hadn't really evolved into that. We're talking like March, April. So now, though, on maps specifically, I think park like Oregon, I'm all for it. A lot of people that can really aim well with it. You got the SPSMG. You can deal with shields, which are really the biggest problem for a lot of teams to deal with, right? Utility soak and all considered. But there it is. Easy peasy. Just deal with one of the shields, quick lance, and yeah, sure, you don't have as much utility for other things. There's mute jammers, such, but it's still an important part of your strategy.
Pikachu's hoping he can be that entry for that his team desperately needs, because Ed's not been having the game that we quite rightfully expect him to be having. Pikachu's kind of been the one that stepped up and played that aggressive fragger. It's been giving him a lot of kills, but they've been, for the most part, impactless kills. That's the trouble, is that you oftentimes are not having those kills that really do much to the round. Banshee will give away his position, but he's the better shot there with the R4C. And those shots from the Vector will pepper past his head. Pikachu's lucky to be alive.
Look,
and I think this extended hold here, Milosh, is going to favor them a lot here. They won't have to deal with opening anything, really.
Everybody complains about the Banshee, but you just press W, lol. Just press W. Like, how difficult is that? Type on
It's like a massage.
I'm all up for a spa day, I can tell you that. There it is.
Oh, yes, please.
Triple lift, setting up with the drones, on the rotation. It's difficult to deal with things and come into initiation. And it's even one part of the 2-layer onion that FAV have. Now, they do have a rotation hole back into the bunks area. So it's done in that way for a very particular reason. It's to really trick your opponents, keep them on their toes. A lot of utility being thrown around as Typon, though, will find the kill onto Xeno. So the Thermite has been taken away. Your hard breach is done. You don't have possibilities for it. And this might just force Electrify to go a bit more aggressive.
Oh, no. Oh, hello?
There it is.
Okay.
Pikachu just peeks up and finds the kill on Chloroform, but will it be enough, Jess? There's 10 seconds left. They gotta go for it. And Shin, the red dot is not the play. I know you're inspired by Fox, but he actually somehow gets it. Number 2 and Shin are gonna get a kill each, and Shin swings wide. He's heard man. He says, Milos, you know what? I like you, but give it a moment. Hold
you.
my sake. Hold my sake. I got it. Shin is gonna get the kill. Finish it off here for the defense of FAV Gaming, and they'll go up 5-3.
I don't know what's worse for Electrify. Is it that they're not able to displace the power positions of FAV? Is it that they're running out of time mid and late round? Is it that they're losing important operators early on? I can't work it out what it is, or whether it's a culmination of so many unfortunate events and unfortunate circumstances just wrapping up into a really bad present. It's like getting coal at Christmas, you know what I mean? You're just sitting there, you go, thanks.
I
So
mean,
actually, you know what?
if
you
I had a
you'd be happy. Remember?
yeah.
You remember Avocado Kid? Avocado Kid was the best meme. Oh, an avocado. Thanks. You don't know that?
Oh wait, I'm gonna look it up.
The
Wait.
best meme. What? You are such a boomer. somehow.
Avocado! Oh my god! I just heard.
Right?
Look, this is Vine. I don't know any of this, but I just heard it, and honestly, yeah, it's pretty darn
It's
cute.
an avocado. Thanks. And so
Avocado. Yeah.
what Electrify are doing, they go, it's a lump of coal. Thanks. That's what their second half has been.
Fair enough. You know, some people, if you had a coal-fired furnace, maybe it would make sense. So.
Whoa. Silver lining. You're the
Silver
best,
lining.
Nosh.
Always look on the bright side of life, Jessica Bolden. There it is. The bright side is that you're not with us today, so always look on that. Shin
Bless.
is gonna bring out the Frost. Now, Frost has had an interesting change with the ITA being given over to help with the rotations, and you know, of course, you get your shield and all that. Frost can do a lot of work. I gotta say, when it comes to medians of an operator that somehow is involved in a lot more round wins than losses, it's pretty impressive. But it's definitely a niche operator, right? Not every operator needs to do everything. Sometimes the right operator for the right situation is very much enough.
Look, honestly, if you're a real Frost main, you play the Super 90, don't be a little coward, and you know where I was going.
Yeah.
Don't be a little coward. I don't think the ITA is the big thing. I think the 1.5 and the 9 is the big thing for me personally. Gives you that real big leg up, and the 9 is actually one of the most powerful weapons on defense. And well, looks like Electrify, when they said speed things up, they're going to speed things up even quicker than I expected.
Yeah, there's number 2 out. 2 nitros have been wasted. Of course, the mute has been taken away, and another one that's been thrown. And Pikachu and Ed will get a kill each. Chloroform will be able to refrag on Ray, at least slowing his opponents down a tiny bit. But FAV have to go and retake their site right now. Chloroform will get one. Going up against the sledge,
No
but it's
way.
triple lift that will win it out in a 3 versus 1. It's up to Chloroform to take it, and Ed boy, swinging wide with the Zofia, doing the work. That's all that's necessary, man. You got the cover. You know that they're going to be coming in from control room. You're going to hear people if they're even in the cache hallway. It's not much of a problem. Very well done. Just holding angles until your teammate can plant. And this is something that I know I'm taking a bit of your time out, but just to say, a lot of people look at rounds where it's like a full kill round, right? You went for deathmatch option instead of planting. A lot of times that happens because the attackers are trying to set up and protect their teammate to plant. But in that time, the defenders tried to do something a bit more aggressive. They got shot, and that was the end of it. So still part of it. Go ahead.
No, that's a great point you bring up, is there are a lot of teams that have low plant ratio. And that's just, sometimes it's just how it is, because your opponent is desperately trying to get you to stop you before you get to that point. And they're just throwing bodies at you, aggressiveness against aggressive, fire against fire. It just turns out to be elimination after elimination. Of course, a team that has not a lot of plants consistently throughout, multiple stages, that's not a good look. But if you're winning straight through eliminations, and a team I could think about that actually was Stage 2 BDS. Stage 1, they had a heck of a lot of plants, but Stage 2 BDS, for example, a lot of their rounds were ending on eliminations because teams desperately wanted to stop them planting because they knew how it ended for teams statistically when they did plant. So not a surprise.
Yeah.
Is that? I thought that was a shotgun. I was like, "Whoa, damn, Typon, you're really taking this a hectic route." But
I mean,
he doesn't have the shotgun.
Hectic enough
really
bringing the Cavita in this situation, right? What is it? There's a change not long ago, adding all of those sights to a lot of the weapons. and making sure everything's really aligned for a lot of weapons that are a bit of an oddity in comparison to your usual rifles. So I'm actually quite keen on this, I gotta say. There's still an impact in the back pocket. Type 1 can use that whenever. He can go silent step whenever necessary. You don't need to wait for it to completely recharge. There's quote-unquote viability for it. And if you're gonna be sneaking around, fair enough. There's Jackal on the other side, by the way. And this is something that in the... Oh, no. Okay, it's the mute. So he tags the mute, but the Jackal doesn't know that there's a Cavita.
Smart.
So this is something that I remember Zoronic talking about way back in the day. I think that was SI 2019 even. He's saying, like, actually, it's not bad of a pick, because if there's going to be so much Jackal, you might as well use that to your advantage, right? You can really trick your opponents. And I'm excited to see potentially. There's Sino going in for the thermite charge, and Triple Lift nading right around the corner. It's enough. The mute jammer's down.
I was just about to say, I was cringing in my seat, Milosh. You need to crouch when you place your exothermic, otherwise it gets impact trick. He does it for the second time, but now he's lost out on that first exothermic, which would have gone off if he was crouched. What I want to see now, take someone down, type on, climb on top of them, make them scream the positions of all of their teammates, because that's what we want to see here on the last play day of APAC North. We've seen some wild plays today. I'm all about that Cavita. I don't know the last time we saw a interrogation, but I'm desperate for one as they make the entry on the side.
Definitely so. Ed preparing, pushing all the way past Throne. He'll get one on a Shin. 5v3 type on. You gotta make your move at some point in time. There's Afro to slow things down on the plant protection. Sino will set down that diffuser. And type on is just looking around, but he hasn't had an impact at all. There's number 2 though onto Ray, taking down the Jackal, but Sino with an immediate refract. Type on, he's looking. Where are my opponents? Unfortunately, they're a bit further back. Number 2 is going to get one. He's spotted, taken away. All this time for nothing. Unfortunate on the cabin, number 2.
No way.
He's popping off. It's now the 1v1, and Pikachu misses the shot. Now, they know the Ash is around here. There's 15 seconds left. Is there enough? You have to stick it. There's not much time for it. You can just sit behind the throne and just waste the time as much as possible. Pikachu has to run for this. He's halfway done.
Pikachu?
Number 2, one more second. He's being slow. Oh no! FAV Gaming, take it! The Banshee did the work. Are you kidding me? No.
No way! You win a round from a Banshee?
No way!
Freaking believable.
No.
No,
way.
I refuse to believe that.
No way. That was... I mean, the clutch utility. I can't wait to look at Twitter after this one. I'm laying, by the way. But, oh my... Woo! That's a retake if I've seen one. Cyclone, that must be demoralizing for Electrify. And of course, can I throw you under the bus for a second?
Oh, do it.
As someone who coached Penta yourself, how do you come back from this?
Good one, Chief. Good one.
Yeah.
You don't. I'll be very frank with you here. If Electrify do not come out swinging the way they did in that round, because that round was theirs. Did you see how many kills the Zofia got? Did you see the entry? Did you see the way that they got the plant off in such quick timing? We criticized their time management. They turned around, they slapped me in the face with a fish and said, look at this. We can absolutely get on the side however we damn want. And they did it with perfection. Then they threw it to a Banshee. To a Banshee. My goodness, you can't even predict that stuff. How do you come back from it? That's a tilter. And it's a tilter for one of your best players in your team at the moment, which is Pikachu. Triple Lift's been popping off as well, but I think for the most part, Pikachu's been the one that's had the most impact with his kills. So that's a tilter for him. If we see him die early, it's probably because he's making a silly mistake out of mentality.
Look, girl, not everybody can have a Hyperino on their team when it's necessary. So, you got to work with what you've got. And right now, at least in the last round, the Malusi was definitely there when necessary. I'm looking forward to seeing how the meta affects this round. Very curious about it. Of course, you have the ITA, the soft destruction, etc. You have the mute that I assume is bringing the shotgun here. A bit of pressure onto Shin, and there's no way you drop. There it is, the ping. Not a problem. You can't really do anything against the mirrors. It's one of your 3 bits of utility that have been has been used for nothing, but it's fine. It's not really the end of the world. As going to try to come in from below and drone into the locker area. There should not be anything through there. And yeah, you're just going the rounds downstairs, going off with the checklist.
Where are both of the mirrors, medics? Because my confusion with one not being on that wall. Okay, there's one.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, he's kept him in pocket. Okay, so I did wonder when he was going to place it down. Maybe he was trying to shoot drones and whatnot. I figured one would go on that wall there and another would go towards Cafe. My understanding, though, is the reason there were pockets is they needed to see where they were going to push first before they placed it, and that's a really smart play.
So, there's Afro just peeking around the corner. He's trying to do a bit of work, keep his opponents on his toes, if anything. Sano rotating all the way around. It's been very... I don't want to repeat the word interesting. I have a personal vendetta against the word. But I've been very curious to see how both of these teams have been jumping around, rotating from one side of the map to the other. Of course, because you have the roof, it gives you that flexibility to go for it if necessary. And both have been using it fairly extensively. You pressure on one side, it doesn't work, you go to the other. Knowing that there's a lot of mirror windows that are facing that cache entrance and control room, I find it completely full of sense to just go from the opposite end, right? But still, Afro's going to peek around and find Pikachu, and definitely not a great situation to be in. But hey, just because of the amount of hallways in this map, it might turn out to your side regardless.
Cafe is a bit of a kill hole. We speak about that. What? Hello? What? Where did that grenade go?
I don't know,
into
man.
the abyss. I have no idea. But you know where Wesino went? He went 6 feet under in a split second, and now with 25 seconds left, well, it's all up to Electrify. Do they bring this to overtime, or do they just send it to the grave?
Number 2! What a shot! The second one for number 2! Oh man, FAV Gaming are popping off when it's necessary, and Triple Lift will have to walk in through a minefield. There's Banshees, there's reinforcements, and well, there's 1 kill to collect, but with 5 seconds left, diffuser in pocket, and it's not going to matter. Chloroform swings wide, and Triple Lift will be shut down, much like his cousin Double Lift, as some may say. There it is, FAV Gaming victorious in this Playday. 7-4 on Theme Park. Some sparks from Electrify, but not enough to defeat FAV Gaming.
We love you, Triple Lift. Goodbye, Pro League. Triple Lift says, and
Can we get some Fs in chat?
Very sneaky. Yeah, I want all of the Fs in chat. Feels bad, man. And the big thing there is that I have no doubt Electrify will come back into another season of APAC North at some point, at some stage. They put up a pretty valiant fight there. It ended up at a 7-4. I actually thought it would have been a far more heinous victory there for FAV. It wasn't.
Yep.
They played some big mistakes there that they can look back on as well. But overall, FAV will walk away with the win as predicted.
Not too shabby. From Wubwubs to kills, we had a lot of fun in this matchup. Definitely Theme Park can bring out a lot of interesting strategies and operators. We saw Kali, we saw the new quote-unquote glass meta game. Please get ready for it. We're gonna really start seeing a lot of this. But let's kick it back to the analyst desk where they fill us in on all the details. Steinhappers, go ahead.
Thank you, Milos, for throwing it back. And